Hey there, welcome to the first episode of a series I'm calling Untested Arcana, where I make tabletop RPG content based on popular media and use that as a way to discuss various game design and narrative design principles. Now, I did say tabletop RPG content, but initially that's just going to be Homebrew for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. At the moment, that's a pretty broadly accessible way into this kind of design. In the future, as things change, I hope to branch out, but today it's a 5e subclass. I hope that's cool with everyone. This video is actually a cut down version of 2 long live streams I did, so if you want to see the real pace of this work, you can check that out instead. I warn you though, I have never streamed before, so it's a pretty rough 5 hours. Hopefully the audio quality isn't too distracting on this video, nor the fact that I have the loudest chair in the world. I think as I make more of these, I'll slowly figure out how to do it well. If you're watching this and you do like the content, I've actually linked it below. It should be live on D&D Beyond as of the posting of this video. So feel free to let me know what you think in the comments if you try it out or just take a look at it. But you know what? Enough of this. Let's cut back to past live stream me to start the process. Enjoy. I want to take this game that I have that has a lot of characters that many of us have played, which is Super Smash Brothers. Grab it on this. And just like choose a character from here. But I want to do one like from scratch and go through all the decisions I'm making. CPUs. This one's random. And we're gonna boot it up. We're gonna see which 8 characters it serves us. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna rule some stuff out. Like, I haven't played Xenoblade, so like I don't know enough about Shulk. Also, Ryu, it's just a guy who fights. Banjo-Kazooie is fascinating to me. Because it's all about the duality. It's about being the bear and the bird, and that like deciding how to mechanize that will be interesting. Fox I find uninteresting just because he comes from a series that is almost entirely vehicle-based. Wario I like, but also like, what are his defining characteristics? He's just a Mario, and Joker again, like I'm sure he's a very interesting character. I have not played it, but Banjo-Kazooie and Lucario and King K. Rool. King K. Rool is really interesting to me, but again I haven't played his game. So all right, Banjo-Kazooie, Lucario, Wario. I mean, I think Lucario is the answer. I think that is clearly it. It's the most interesting to me. We'll play around. We'll see how it looks. Okay, great. Who won? Was it Lucario? Wouldn't it be cool if it was Lucario? Alright. And we're going to start the process. The other thing I want to do with these videos is I want to build all of these directly in D&D Beyond. I think most people making Homebrew are using like GM Binder or Homebrewery, and I that's great. I've done that a million times. It's, a PDF is obviously widely shareable, and it, looks great on Twitter. I think a lot of people are increasingly playing their games online and don't know how to use the tools to set these up. I want to make these straight in D&D Beyond, share them to the public, and then if for some reason somebody stumbles upon this video and actually wants to do this, wants to play this in a game, it'll be there. It'll be available to you. You can just add it to your collection and boom, like you could play it straight digitally. Also, knowing that 1D&D is coming and will be sort of digital first, and assuming they're going to sort of use the back end or something like the back end they made for this, it could be good to sort of make an instructional video series about working in this back end. And if I do this for long enough, certainly I will start to make 1D&D stuff. The question you want to ask is, what does Lucario do? He's fighting type. Aura Blast. That's an interesting question. What damage type is Aura Blast? There is some aura sensing. You know what? Let's just read it. Let's just see what Lucario does. I mean, well, this is good. It learns fighting normal, steel. Oh, steel type. That's an important component. Steel type is in there. It is a character that focuses mostly on special attack, but its attack is quite good. So to me, if I'm translating this into D&D, the answer is can use weapon attacks, can do magical damage. I'm not going to say spells right now. Not super defensive. Not terribly fast. I don't know Pokemon stats that well. Is 90 very slow? Is 90 very fast? Who knows? Mega Lucario. Oh, should we include Mega Lucario? Yeah, let's include Mega Lucario. And Mega Evolve. More damage. More hurt. I think this, as you take damage, you become more powerful, that is what is fun about being Lucario in Super Smash Bros. It's like getting down to the edge or intentionally letting yourself take damage so that you are stronger, or knowing that like come from behind wins that's your whole thing. Lucario is all about these sort of like big impactful attacks. In terms of like when you watch the anime or the movies, Lucario is depicted as very wise, very perceptive, which again like sort of leads you down a path that's a little too obvious. But even just having some sort of, extrasensory kind of abilities, especially pertaining to like people. So it's not like perception, isn't it? It's insight. Is like really what it's about. Yeah, and then Mega Lucario. And Mega Lucario is just more. It's just more. So when I'm designing a subclass, when anyone's going to design a subclass, there is one big decision to make up front, and that is what class. I'm just going to go through. I'm going to say Artificer, D. Totally unsuitable. Lucario doesn't have bits and bobs and objects. If there's a Pokemon that's an Artificer, I don't know who it is, but like Artificers are defined by scaling up the amount of magic items they have. That's not what we're doing here. I don't think anyone else is totally, vastly, ridiculously unsuited the way that Artificer is. But bumping up into C, I'm going to say Wizard, and I'm going to probably put a couple here. Wizard, Bard, Sorcerer. I mean, Wizard and Sorcerer, D6 hit die, I think is no good. If you're going to play as Lucario, yes, you might do some middle distance stuff, but you're not in the back line. And although, yes, I'm aware that there are Wizard subclasses and Sorcerer subclasses that attempt to address this deficit, I don't want to. I just don't think that's interesting. Bard, no. Maybe a dance Bard. I just don't think any of the main components of Bard, like Bardic Inspiration. Yeah, you could do like a Swords Bard and like push it into some, like use the resource totally differently. But at that point, like, why are you being a Bard? Like, why you have Song of Rest, you have Magical Secrets. Like, how does Magical Secrets help Lucario? I just don't think it does. You know what? I'm putting Rogue down in C. No, fuck it. I'm putting Rogue in D. Yeah, well, I didn't even see that. Rogue is totally unsuitable. I think this will come up if I make more episodes. Rogue is an interesting class. It relies entirely on the attack action, but it relies on getting sneak attack, which is pretty much walled off behind the attack action and almost always using a weapon. And honestly, like, gets some cool abilities, but if you want to put magical damage on it, like, you got to get kind of weird with it. You could make the argument that something like the Psy Knife, that's kind of like Aura. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I don't think the fantasy of having Thieves' Tools proficiency in Thieves' Camp like goes with Lucario. Yeah, well, I mean, look, I'm gonna just put some stuff around and maybe talk about it. I think Monk, Barbarian, Fighter. Put Paladin here. Yeah, I think the rest of these basically look like this. Put these all up here and then take them down one by one until we have one left. I like Fighter, but it gets 4 attacks per attack action, and I think that's cool. But if we are going to be adding impact to attacks, adding number of them is just going to become kind of tedious. It's like constantly calculating, all right, do this attack and add this thing, and do this attack and add this thing, and like, I think that kind of juggly, like speed thing is just not what it feels like to play as Lucario. So I think a class that just does regular multi-attack, 2 attacks per action, all the way up to level 20. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take Monk out because we're just going to end up making Sun Soul. And that's lame. I can't believe we're ending up here. But I'm going to take Barbarian out because oh boy, what have I done here? First episode of this nonsense, I'm going to do everyone's least favorite class. So, all right, well, let's go look at Rangers. But see, Primeval, this is suddenly really good. Like Primeval Awareness, that's aura sensing. Oh, this is great. You can see invisible stuff, posing disadvantage. Canny, you can give yourself expertise in insight. You can give yourself expertise in insight, and then I don't have to build it in as a subclass feature because you can just give yourself expertise in insight. So usually they get some kind of like vaguely useful static ability, like this detect portal or whatever, and then a damage boost. Something that is either a small amount on every attack or a larger amount on 1 attack per round. So this is some kind of aura feature. Extra damage. Maybe added distance on attacks. I actually think that we can look at like the Swarmkeeper, right? I think we should do that. We should do different stuff with it. You can either use your aura to do this or do this or this, because part of what makes the aura cool is like you can either like hit really hard in person or you can like extend. So maybe using the aura to push, like adding range to attacks. Yeah, like you can extend the reach of your attacks with aura, or you can... Okay. Yeah, okay, we're starting to form something here. I think this is Mega Lucario. It's the final feature. But I think that's what we should do. We should do like a transformation. I think it should be triggered by peril. Alright, something defensive here. But I think that's kind of interesting. Like we're flipping it on its head. Like instead of you getting more defensive, you just deal with the fact that you suck now. Like that you're just getting hurt, you're getting hit, you're getting punished. And now I'm just, instead of making you get hurt or hit less, I'm just giving you some minor benefit to that happening. And then this one is more attacking, more attacking, more attacking. I'm just gonna write improved aura here. So we are doing this for Ranger, and so you can make stuff from scratch, but like don't. I mean, you can, but God, is it really annoying. So I'm gonna choose a thing that I think is similar enough, which is Fey Wanderer. So, you know, it's one thing you can create a subclass that is Lucario and then call it, you know, Aura Sensor or Lucario Knight or whatever. Like you can just name it after the thing, or you can make it super obvious or super unambiguous at least. But you kind of maybe want to make something that could be played on another character, could have a life of its own, but is very clearly inspired by Lucario or by whatever you're making. So in this case, Aura... Ooh, hey. If anyone watches this and takes a single thing away, it's that relatedwords.org is just like the best website in the world. And that you should be using it when you're writing. So yeah, you've got like Horizon Walker, Fey Wanderer, Beast Master, Drake Warden. It's all these verbs that describe sort of mastery or travel, or it's like behaviors. So survivors, because that's sort of... I'm really wasting time here, but I can't help it. I'm gonna go with Aura Striker for now. Oh, right. This is version 0. The whole joke of the show or the channel is like it's untested. We are just doing first draft. Yeah, the idea here is to learn not how to make perfectly finished, amazing things that, you know, Wizards of the Coast should be publishing tomorrow. This is making things that your DM will probably let you try, or that you should, as a DM, be willing to let your players try and test. And it's just about getting to that first draft. So let's start with Dreadful Strikes. So we are making a new ability. I mean, look, this whole stream idea was to sort of learn about this, and I'm realizing how much of this process is very silent and odd to do with the expectation of talking. All right, you know what? I'm going to do something dangerous, which is that I am going to stop. But at this point, I'm kind of running out of steam for like talking to myself. I am going to come back tomorrow to my audience of no one. Honestly, this was a torturous hour, and how long have I been doing this? God, how do people do this? Jesus Christ. It's the next day, and so I've been thinking about this like Lucario subclass sort of all day. I think I've had a sort of major breakthrough with this, which, you know, I'm realizing like we want someone who we are giving them a benefit potentially to being hurt, which means we want to put them in a position to get hurt, which means we are making a melee ranger. And therefore, they become, by default, like some kind of tank. And what's great is that we've got this tool, this like force palm thing that he kind of uses, that kind of like open palm aura blast push would be really great for a tank that wants to take damage. It's, you know, coming in and running in your sort of D10 hit die with your armor on, and you force palm him 10 feet away from that guy, and then you pursue. You know, you like attack once to push, you pursue, and you attack with your sword or another, you know, force palm kind of thing. Oh, right, sorry, here's the secondary thing. When you're looking at a character or at classes like Paladin, which are, you know, half-casters, or even like Eldritch Knight or an Arcane Trickster, right? You're trying to decide, should I focus on my casting stat or my attacking stat? You know, for Rangers, that's focusing on dexterity, so making dexterity, 16 at the start of the game, and then 18 and then 20 with your first two ASIs, and then moving Wisdom up after that. And that's because, for the most part, for Rangers, pushing your dexterity is also going to increase your AC, which is a big deal. You know, like most classes that are going to be on the front line usually like to increase their AC as they move forward. For something like Paladin, you increase your AC by buying it. You buy AC. You buy a shield, you buy better armor. Then charisma is secondary for paladins, or, you know, intelligence is secondary for arcane tricksters or eldritch knights. You're always going to try and push your attacking stat, the thing that you use more often, right? But what could be fun about this is if you think about like the aura as some sort of magical power, and look at Lucario, like he just fights with the aura. So I kind of thought it'd be cool if you made essentially a ranger subclass that encourages you not to invest in dexterity, to set your dexterity at 14 when you start, put on medium armor, and then buy AC as you go forward. By encouraging you to do that, I can then have wisdom-based force palm, because now you don't need to invest in dexterity to increase your AC. You're buying AC, like a paladin, like a fighter in heavy armor. And now you can be a little bit more spell-focused, because you're not getting to level 12 with a 16 in your spellcasting ability modifier, which, you know, everybody knows rangers are bad, ranger spells are bad, can't do anything about that. But if you could have a ranger who starts with 16 wisdom and then goes to 18 and then goes to 20, you know, a level 8 ranger with 20 wisdom, 14 dexterity, totally workable, but not with all these abilities right now that require weapon attacks to work. We're going to look at something that gives you a wisdom-based unarmed strike, essentially, a weapon that you can use that is force palm, that you can use to essentially replace carrying a weapon. You'll still have, you know, the ability to shoot a bow or use a sword if you want, and you could probably play this without it. You could play it, you know, more balanced, 16-16 dex whiz, and mix it up. You know, use a sword and then toss a force palm out to reposition someone as a second attack after 5th level. So, the baseline features. I want like there's a phrase that you'll see, you probably know it if you're watching this, ribbons and rocks. Ribbons are features like calligraphy proficiency on, you know, battle masters. And then a rock is a feature that does something, like maneuvers. So we're going to do a ribbon and a rock. The ribbon is going to be special aura sensing, and I'm going to talk about that. And then the rock, and I don't usually use these kind of terms, but whatever, is going to be Force, Palm, Wisdom. Great. We know that the capstone is going to be Mega Lucario. We know that the 7th level feature is probably going to be defensive in nature because a lot of them are either defensive or positional. And we know that the big thing we want is benefit from being hurt, which I would say is under half health. That benefit will probably be an increased impact. So this will be damage, probably not accuracy. So it probably won't be a bonus to an attack roll, but probably a bonus to damage or potentially a bonus to like pushback if we pushback mechanic or a knockdown mechanic as we work on this. And then this one, I don't have a great idea for this one. So the idea is like there are multiple subclasses across the game that let you know things about your opponent. So I think Battlemaster has Know Your Enemy, and that gives you it lets you know all this stuff, or it lets you know 2 of these things, which is like interesting, but I don't know, it doesn't feel particularly aura-y to me. One of the Rangers has it. I think Hunter? Monster Slayer? Yeah, you can find out damage immunities. Yeah. So here's what I've kind of settled on a little bit. So I'm giving you insight proficiency, which the issue is if you are playing Lucario, if you're playing to type, if you've chosen this subclass, but you're starting at level 1 or 2, right? You've already chosen insight, and you've probably given yourself expertise in insight. I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you do that? But there are some places where they'll give you a proficiency, and if you already have it, you get a different one. And so I think I should do that. And so let's go find one. You gain proficiency with Alchemist Supplies, very habits for yeah, great. So I'm going to copy that language. It's in Insight, and it's not Insight, yeah, and it's capitalized. Great. Insight. You already have proficiency. You gain proficiency with one other skill of your choice. Second thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give a new type of thing. You know, Battlemaster lets you know like relative strength. The Monster Slayer knows about type vulnerabilities and resistances. I want this one to know something else. And so I wanted to know what a creature's like internal power is. So that's physical power, but it's like spiritual aura power. And this one is just knowing if they can cast spells. And I think that's a cool little thing. And you could potentially use it for some interesting social thing where like you're level 4 Aura Guardian and you're with your party and it goes, oh, this shopkeep, yeah, I can cast 6th level spells. We're 4th level characters. Even the wizard can only cast 2nd level spells. This guy is suspicious. Like that is an interesting thing to know. I thought about saying which, that you know which ability score they use to cast them, but that's more than 2 pieces of information, which I feel like there's that sort of gate on the Battlemaster where you get to know 2 things. It can cast spells and at what level. So, okay, so Aura Estimation is kind of an odd name for it. We'll maybe come up with a better name later. But at 3rd level, you can sense the inner motivations and power of those around you. You gain proficiency in Insight. If you already have this proficiency, you gain proficiency in one other skill of your choice. You can also use a bonus action to make a special Insight check on a creature you can see, contested by the target's Charisma, Deception check. If you succeed, the DM tells you if the character is capable of casting any spells, as well as the highest level spell they're able to cast. I'm going to put something in here that I don't necessarily want to. I'm going to copy the limit from Monster Slayer. I think this is standard design, and I don't like it, but it'll also be a good way to sort of teach something about D&D Beyond, because this will give us a little metered checkbox. You check, 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 and it'll go away at a long rest. And since we're designing something that can boost wisdom, they'll be able to do a lot. We're going to say Aura Strike. The intention here is to straight up replace weapon attacks. And I'm going to say right now, it's kind of a stupid idea. Like, why make a ranger and then turn it into a weird monk? I don't really have an excuse for that, but I do think that the rest of the ranger stuff works really well. Being able to cast spells works really well. I think putting on armor so that you don't have to increase your dexterity to increase your AC also kind of works well for this like steel type getting in there, you know, in the thick of it and pushing people around with your force palms. So yeah, I mean, look, this is the first episode of this. This one doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe if I keep doing this series, I'll come back and I'll fix this awful garbage. But we're gonna move forward. So our goals with Aura Strike are to do something like melee spell attack, like using Wisdom, deals 1d6, 4, 6. I mean, reasonably speaking, if you were like a really optimized ranger, you're either wielding a rapier and a shield, I guess, like a really, you know, frontline ranger, maybe a rapier and a shield. It's a d8. This has the benefit of being magical immediately. It's also going to have secondary benefits. I'm going to say d6. We're going to not get mad about it. Yeah, I'm going to say d6 because this isn't like the other ones. It isn't giving you a boost to your damage. Deals 1d6 plus Wiz force damage. I thought about the damage type. I know Aura looks bright and shiny, but like it's force damage. I'm just gonna look at it. But yeah, I'm gonna say this is force damage. I think the light effect is kind of stupid. I think that if you think about it from like a Pokemon typing perspective, Radiant, if anything, is psychic or fairy or maybe like dragon but it ain't fighting. I mean, if anything, I'd want this to be bludgeoning damage, but that is the saddest thing in the world. So we're going to do force damage, which is sort of, I always think of like bludgeoning, piercing, slashing as lesser versions of force damage. We wanted to have a knockback effect, and that's basically it. Like, we are just giving you a new attack that you can use whenever you would make a melee weapon attack. Actually, that's an interesting rules clarification. Is there an existing subclass that gives you a new option while attacking? I mean, Soul Knife doesn't do that. Sun Soul. New attack option. Yeah. Great. So we're making Sunbolts. Okay, this is the language. All right, I'm going to steal all of this. It's a melee spell attack. You add your modifier to attack damage rolls, which is force. Damage I is d6. This sort of being able to move someone 5 feet against their will is tricky. It's pretty powerful. Now, it's usually gated behind either a saving throw or something like this. I'm going to copy that. I mean, again, look, we're making a first draft. 5 feet directly away from you. Actually, that's a good point. Let's go steal the language from telekinetic. All right, so this is 2 features. Estimation and the strike thing. So let's make these. Let's make these in D&D Beyond. Okay, so Aura Guardian Magic, we're going to deal with that later. Aha, so Otherworldly Glamour is the ribbon from Fey Wanderer. And this is now... Actually, let's just, while we're here, can you do better than this? Yeah, I'm going to say Intuition. Got the language for it, which is here. And now, we are going to lose these modifiers. We don't need these. Great. And great. And we are going to build, we now have a new action. So this is a general action. It's none of these things. It's none of this. It's none of this. It is a bonus action. It's a long rest reset. All right, well, we're about to dive into something that I think is very interesting, which is, this is a problem. I want to like have a library of these functions, but instead I just know, well, I'm thinking of the insight check from Inquisitive. So go make it Inquisitive, and then I gotta go look. I gotta go find Insightful Fighting. I gotta go to Edit. I gotta find the action. I gotta edit that. I go, okay, insightful fighting. Oh, this one is not limited. Shit, so I've just done this for no reason. Which one is limited? It's the Ranger. Subclass, Ranger, Hunter Sense, Actions, Long Rest Reset Type. Oh, limited use, literally just down there. Damn it. Yeah, it had limited use. Number of uses. Wisdom. Well, let's just double check how this one does it. 0 addition, wisdom. 0 addition, wisdom. Well, then I guess that's that. And then we're going to change Dreadful Strikes to Aura Strikes. So Dreadful Strikes is currently a 1d4 psychic. It's displayed an attack. It's got this fucking description on it. Alright. This is a spell? Spell, yeah. Wisdom, proficient, melee, none of that. 1d6. Great, awesome. Damage type, force. Display attack, yes please. Great, save, and I'm just gonna get rid of this level over right there. Okay, we've got Aura Strikes. Strikes on there, it's an action, adds no modifiers, got no level scaling, it doesn't do any of that. Fantastic, fantastic. So right, now, we are now in a position where we can start to actually look at this. Loud homebrew content. I don't care. Let's do that. So, we have Aura Strike. It's 1d6 plus 3. Its hit is plus 5. That tracks. We have plus 3. We have proficiency bonus plus 2. Aura Strike to hit. Whatever. 5. It's force damage. Force damage. Yeah. Cool. We've also got Aura Intuition, which we can do like this. There. It's there. Okay. We're going to try this. We're going to try the benefit from being hurt. What is our 7th level thing? So when you are... And actually, while I'm out here, let's just go get it. Let's just go get that language. So in this case, what are we actually trying to do with this? Do we just double? Is it 2d6? At level 7, that means you're doling out, while you're below half health, probably 46 plus 8 damage in a round. It's quite a lot. You know, a Hunter's Mark plus a d6 weapon pump out roughly the same, but now you got your concentration open. You have to carry a weapon. It's magical damage. I guess a ranger would often have a little boost, so they'd be doing a little bit more. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna say it's 2d6. Like, again, we're just I'm losing sight of this. We're just making a first draft. If we bring this to the table and it's ridiculous, then okay, well maybe it's you add your proficiency bonus to the damage when you're under half health. That could be fun. You know, that's actually quite a lot. Yeah, this is cool. Okay. So you can either, like, punch it real hard, push people even further, or you get reach, which is cool. Yeah, you just get 2 more actions. That's the way we're going to code this. Okay, great. Let's do that. And you know what? I'm gonna... This is Beguiling Twist, which we don't need anymore. Now we have Persevering Spirit. And modifiers, I don't need it. Fantastic. And actions, I'm gonna just make a new one. Alright, it's the same thing. Aura Strike, Persevering, Wisdom, Proficient, Melee, 2, d6. Force, yes. Great, yeah. Persevering Spirit, also fast description. Okay, cool. So where are we in this process? I don't know spells. This might be a good time to do spells. I want to talk about choosing spells for a subclass they're making. Because there's a couple of considerations. Now, obviously, for playing at your own table, just choose whatever spells you want. Like, If you want to publish something, either on D&D Beyond or just in the world at large, outside of like making a PDF on Reddit, which has no rules, you have to use the source reference document, which means you can't use all the spells when you reference spells. You can only use the spells referenced in the basic rules. And you will see, as we're going through this, that is not every spell. That is not many spells. It's very frustrating. For instance, my first thought, like this morning when I was like, oh, I kind of want something for I want a force damage kind of basic attack. I was like, oh, Sword Burst. Sword Burst, great. It's like, that's a great aura sphere kind of. Nope. Sword Coast Adventures guy. Can't use that. For the purposes of this show, I'm just going to be doing OGL legal stuff, which means there may be, if you're watching this, or you're looking at the subclass, you're thinking like, man, be a way better spell would be blank. You're probably right, but you should check. That spell probably isn't in basic rules, which means I can't use it. For a ranger, we need one spell of each level, 1 through 5. There are probably going to be multiple spells that make sense. So what I like to do is I like to go by level and scroll through it. First one I see here that I like is False Life. What I like about False Life is that if you are looking for that, getting down below your hit point maximum, having temporary hit points, as written, wouldn't break that. So a spell that gives you temporary hit points, not a bad idea. I'm going to put False Life. I kind of already know the spells I'm going to choose. Like, I've been thinking about it, but I'm going to talk through it as if I don't. Magic Missile. I'm writing Magic Missile down. Something I have not talked about at all is Aura Sphere. Throws the big ball of force energy. And, worth pointing out, that the way the attack works in Pokemon is that it bypasses accuracy checks. And that's Magic Missile. Sanctuary is cool in terms of like the class identity. I'm gonna put Sanctuary in here. This is all for show because Magic Missile is gonna be it. But let's go to 2. And I can tell you, I'm pretty sure 2 is the one that I'm very not excited about. Blur is cute. It's a good frontline spell. But I kind of don't want to avoid damage. I kind of want to just like overcome damage. Detect Thoughts. That's a big one. Would really like Detect Thoughts. That's in the running big time. Boring Bond is really interesting. It's kind of a shit spell. But if the point of my character is to take damage for people, and I benefit from being hurt, this would be kind of an amazing spell, wouldn't it? Me and the other frontliner are now splitting damage. I'm putting Warring Bond on here. What I don't like about that is that I really want Detect Thoughts very badly. But I do think that if you're playing type, maybe you should just take the telepathic feat. And then, do you need this? Third. Counterspell? I will say this. It does have a counter. I think we're going to talk about that in a bit. It does have a counter in Super Smash Brothers, but Counterspell, I don't... I'll put it on there because we've given him the ability to sense spellcasters, so like... Maybe. Hey, I'm just going to put Haste on there because you should just put Haste on everyone's list because it's the best spell. I like Magic Circle. I know it's kind of strange, but it fits the Guardian motif, so I'm just putting it on here. It's just the idea that can use Aura to kind of construct him. It's not great. It's not great, but I'm putting it on there. We've seen enough. Let's jump to 4th. These aren't great either so far. Oh, Death Ward. Death Ward. Death Ward. Like, I'm sorry. I'm having a character that is going to get hit all the time on purpose. Death Ward. Obviously Death Ward. Locate creature is already part of Ranger. Resilient Sphere is cool, except I don't really think... I don't know. I'm going to put it on there, even though it's pointless because Death Ward. And then 5. I'm tempted by Arcane Hand. It does do force damage. It's kind of more Green Lantern than Lucario. Cloud Kill Commune, with nature. These are all things you already have access to. Spell Evil and Good. I have always liked this spell, even though it's really stupid. I'm gonna put Spell Evil and Good on this list because I know it's a bad spell. I know, like, numerically it's a terrible spell, and giving it to a ranger who has no spell slots is already mean. But, like, there's something about it that I really like. The idea of just, like, touching it. It's like Kuma from One Piece. Like, the dismissal part is just cool. I think Hallow is worthwhile, except that I think they get Hallow. Optional class features. They don't. Alright, put Hallow on there. If I put Magic Circle on there, I should put Hallow on there. We've got these spells. And now we're going to go through and we're going to look at, like, sets of them. Like, how do we choose them? Like, for instance, I just know right now, there's no world in which I'm doing Resilient Spheres. Like, it's going to be Death Ward. Death Ward is it. It's in every combination of these. I think Sanctuary is cute, but it's just not, like, it's not better than Magic Missile. And False Life, I think, it's so minimal. It's such a small amount that it's just, yeah. So it's going to be Magic Missile. Let's skip level 2, because that sucks. This is a terrible choice. This is real Sophie's choice. I wish I could give him 2, but, like, that's really out of character. I mean, that's a rule that you could consider breaking, like 2 spells per level for Ranger, but, like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be the day that I break that rule. I don't like Counterspell. I think it's too specific, and you're not going to waste a 3rd level. Like, you're just going to charge through it. Haste is cute, except we're going to get a Mega Form. It's weird to say, I'm going to do Magic Circle. It's cool to have a Ranger that can do that. It sort of makes sense as a Guardian that you would do that. I'm going to do Magic Circle, which means we've now got an attack, something, a defense, and then I think that since we've done Magic Circle, we should do Dispel Evil and Good. We haven't chosen another concentration spell. Dispel Evil and Good has a really cool concentration effect. I think Hallow, Magic Circle are very similar, but it's sort of pointless to have both of them, and I think we do Warding Bond. I think Detect Docs is great, but I didn't lean into any telepathic stuff in this. I give you insight, but I didn't give you low range telepathy. It's just like, if you want to be telepathic, be a Kalishtar, take the feat. And frankly, now that I've made a wisdom focused ranger, you can take the telepathic feat +1 to wisdom and actually have it be your 4th level feat and actually have it build towards your primary stat, because your primary stat is wisdom, because that's your attack stat. So I'm accidentally a genius. Okay, Magic Missile, Warding Bond, Magic Circle, Death Ward, Spell Evil and Good. Those are the spells. I like these. Let's put them in here. And now we just go in here and we type Magic Missile, Warding Bond, Magic Circle, Death Ward, and Dispel Good and Evil. Right? Spell Evil and Good. Spell Evil and Good. It's very strange. What we need to do is change these. Because these are already in there in the right order, I'm going to go and just change these. Now, I could go and choose all these settings again, but I don't want to. Consumes a spell slot, yes. Counts as a known spell, no. Always prepared, yes. Available character, like, all this stuff is already built in, which is really nice. All you gotta do in here is change the thing. Amazing. Fantastic. Perfect. Done. Spells. Done. I wrote here, improve Force Palm, more opportunity to use it. Lucario. We've done improve Force Palm. Improve Force Palm is the 7th level feature. What I want to do now is I'm going to do counter. How have I worded Aura Strike? Could I use it? New attack option you can use with the attack action. Oh, so new attack option you can use with the attack action. That implies that I cannot use Force Palm as a reaction. Well, I should edit that, because I want them to be able to do that. Okay, a new attack. You can use time make spell attack and requires free hand to use. You're proficient with it. Yeah. Okay. So I want a reaction. So Glorious Defense lets you add a bonus to target's AC, and then if they miss, you can attack. Yeah, what I want is an anticipatory attack. I know someone is attacking me. I want to like feint away, hit them back really hard. So, all right, if we're gonna get really experimental about it, I would say at the beginning of a creature's turn, you can use your reaction to enter a counter stance. If that creature attacks you on that turn, you can impose disadvantage. Is that stupid? I mean, look, the sort of baseline boring answer here is when you are the target of an attack, you can use your reaction to probably impose disadvantage. If the attacker misses, you can immediately make one melee attack against them. That's the like boring version of this. But I don't know. This is untested. This is an experiment. We're gonna do the not boring version. Not boring version is at the beginning of a hostile creature's turn, you can use your reaction to take a defensive stance. If that creature attacks you on that turn, oh yeah, it's basically a character specific dodge. You're not making or it's a target specific dodge. You're not dodging against all attacks. You're dodging against that guy's attacks. And if that guy attacks you and misses, you can immediately make. Yeah, this is really stupid. I love it. Beginning of a hostile creature's turn, use your... Yeah, that's simple and stupid and weird, which is like, take a defensive stance, and if they miss you. So it's like, this is good. This is fun. This is really stupid. This probably, in testing this, we would find out that this really sucks. This is really annoying to have to be like, yeah, I think that goblin's going to attack me. And if you're powered up, maybe no, it's like 2d6. You knock him out. I don't know. It sounds fun. It sounds like a fun counter thing. And we're going to call this spot dodge, reaction. What are other words for reaction? Oh, reversal. I'm going to say foreseen. Yeah, we're gonna call it foreseen reversal. Let's make that. So Fey reinforcements becomes foreseen reversal, and it's this. And we're gonna go and this adds a spell, and we're gonna delete that because we don't need the spell. Done. And it's got an action. I'm gonna delete this action. We're gonna make a new action. I just don't want to deal with the way that action is written. And we're gonna make a new action, and it is a spell. No, it's a general action. And it doesn't have an ability score, it doesn't have any of this stuff. It's just activation of a reaction. It doesn't have a reset type. Fantastic. Foreseen reversal. So Auric Guardian's got foreseen reversal. Super cool. And then Misty Wanderer. Okay. Alright. Okay. Mega Lucario. Let's talk about Mega Lucario while looking at something more interesting than my computer. What's Mega Lucario's deal? What is... It's just... Aura has expanded due to Mega Evolution, governed only by its combative instincts, strikes enemies without mercy. Okay. Bathed in explosive energy, its combative instinct awakened. For its enemies, it has no mercy whatsoever. So, no mercy. So, okay. I'm going to say 3 attacks per round. I think temporary hit points, all 3 benefits of Persevering Spirit. So you're doing 2d6, pushing 10 feet, and you've got reach. And you get this for 1 minute. Let's go grab some language. So we know that we want the language of form change. The language of form change is in every single paladin subclass. I'm gonna just grab all this shit. Using a bonus action. It should be a bonus action. Let them enjoy the fruits of their transformation. We're gonna say, that's interesting. If I say half, all right, assuming this person has like 16 constitution, they're looking at D10, that's 6, right? 180. Damn, really? Wow. Nearly 200 hit points. So if I'm giving you 20 temporary... Sorry, I was thinking about this sort of at the beginning of your turn, gaining temporary HP. Beginning of your turn, you get temporary HP equal to your character level, right? So that's your ranger level. As opposed to just getting 100, so getting, like, let's say 20 per turn for 10 turns, assuming you burn through it all, which you should, because you should be getting punched pretty hard. That's 200. That's twice as much, but you have to get hit for it to matter. And I'm going to do that. Yeah, I feel like it's not great. The flavor on this is not great. Feeling level, you find a way to push beyond your limits and transform into a relentless avatar of power. But I like sort of relentless and heartless. That was like all the mega descriptions on this were like heartless and without mercy. Has no mercy whatsoever. It's based combative instincts. It's a bonus action. You undergo transformation for one benefits. The beginning of each turn. Okay. Let's make this. This is going to be interesting. So all this is doing is adding a bonus action. Action, general, and is just a bonus action. Limited use reduces 1. Number of uses 1. Alright. I think we've done it. Or Guardian Magic, or Intuition, or Strikes, Persevering Spirit, Foreseen Reversal, Mighty Guardian. This all doesn't exist, but how much description is there in Ranger shit? That paragraph. There is 1, 2, 3. They're like 3 sentences. So what do Aura Guardians do? Aura Guardians protect the essence of all living things. Yeah. We're going to start... I mean, it's annoying. I think it's kind of lame to start with just the name of your subclass, but Horizon Walker does it. Powerful force. Aura. Selves to enjoy themselves protecting. Sorry, this is not going to make good video editing content. They hold deer. Wow, that's terrible. But, like, I don't have time for this shit. That's the description. Some rangers are gifted the ability to tap into a mysterious force called Aura, an internal energy all living creatures share. By sensing this power in others, they gain deep insight knowledge. About their friends and foes alike, giving them unique abilities both in and out of combat. These Aura Guardians can also manipulate their own aura to deliver devastating strikes to their enemies, protecting the creatures and places they hold dear. That's real stupid. What's the short description? Yeah, great. Aura Guardians are gifted the ability to tap into a mysterious force called Aura, which they can use to deliver devastating strikes to their enemies. Save. Did I do it? Fucking great. Awesome. Let's try this. Let's see if we can make one. Okay. Alright, so we've got Magic Missile, Warding Bond, Magic Circle, Death Ward, Spell Evil and Good. We've got our spells. That's covered. Class features. Aura Guardian, Aura Strikes. That says no action. I think that makes sense. Gain a new attack option, Aura Guardian, you learn these spells. Aura Intuition, I could do 3, I've got 3. Extra attack, Persevering Spirit, Aura Strike Persevering, which is 2d6. Foreseen Reversal, it's a reaction. It's got a description, Mighty Guardian, I could do 1 Prolonged Rest, Feral Sense of False Layer. Go to my actions, I've got Aura Strike and Aura Strike Persevering. Fantastic. Actions, Spell Evil and Good, I don't care about that. Bonus action, I've got Aura Intuition, Special Insight check. Got Mighty Transformation, Inspire of Avatar Power. I got a reaction, which is Foreseen Reversal. Limited use, or it is. It's there. Fantastic. It's in there. Great. So, that's out there. For anyone who stumbles upon this in the future and for God knows why actually watches this, thank you. Otherwise, I'm gonna cut and download the video and hopefully edit a watchable video out of this. So Yeah, that's, do I have a sign off? Yeah, this has been Untested Arcana. Over the last 2 streams, over the course of about 2.5 hours, 3 at this point, like 3.5 hours, sort of like generated 8 random Smash characters, chose one, Lucario, ideated how to make it, made all the features, and then built it in D&D Beyond, and it is now shared with the community on D&D Beyond. So I'm gonna put some links, make a video, and let's hope this is the start of a series and not just the weirdest two days of a weekend I've ever had. So yeah, signing out.